It has officially been more than a year since the Layton Trophy Cabin Lodge released. It was March 10th of 2023, and that to me doesn't even seem possible. A year has flown by, but in that year plus, I bet we've hunted Hirschfelden more for this series than in these several years combined leading up to this release. But despite all that, there are still a number of trophies that we don't have for this lodge, and we're going to head back to Hirschfelden in multiplayer as usual and see what we can do about that. Now, of course, things rarely go to plan in multiplayer, and this is no exception. I had an impossible time getting into any servers whatsoever, and the one that we were able to join, it does happen to be road deer drink time, and we do need a trophy road deer, so no complaints there. But it is kind of late in the day. I think because of just the way that worked, we're probably just going to stay in this server even if it gets dark, and we'll just gotta hope for the best and try to make the most of the time we have here in the daylight. So I'm kind of surprised they heard that, but we definitely got the biggest one. And at least a kind of decent way to get us going. I think he went up to 80 something, which is pretty solid for a max estimate to road deer. And at this stage, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll kind of bounce around, check a couple of good road deer spots before we get to the end of their time at 1700-ish, so not much time left. And then we're going to get to the fields. There should be things feeding as well. But first kill of the hunt, 74.8 scoring gold. That's about 7 away from diamond. He's not a bad looking one. 31 kilo, got that shot there with the 22-250 at 124 meters. And I guess there's really no time to waste, so we'll keep on moving. You know, one of the challenges of still needing a trophy fallow deer from this map is just the mere fact that basically every fallow deer buck is max weight estimate, and trying to go and track one probably isn't a worthwhile venture. I just had an 82 to 100 kilo track, looked over and spotted that one and realized maybe not something we should actually bother with, but I do have the 44 lever action today, and I think between a big fallow and a big red deer, we're probably going to take the big red deer every single time. So going to try to get that shot in there, get a follow up just to bring him down a little bit more quickly. And I mean, that was the direction my fallow was going in, so maybe we'll go and look. Ended up, wait a minute. Oh, hit him in the, how do we do that? Got him right through the skull there. I did not realize that's where that shot hit. Either way, would have been a 207 gold. And at this stage, we might as well check and see if that fallow is anything decent. That's probably the exact same track. We'll be able to tell from the map anyway. But where was he actually at? I'm really not too concerned about spooking him. When they're down in these little pine trees like this, they can just disappear. Ooh, okay. That would be him. That is actually a pretty nice one. Level 4 diamond fallow exists. And if that guy's gonna make it, I think having the 44 lever action ends up being a good idea. He looked to me to be too narrow, but that's a pretty nice fallow buck, and maybe that's evidence that we actually should be tracking the heavy ones that we find. So let's go back here. That indeed was the track I had way back there. Just so happened you warning called when we went to pick up our red deer. So over in this area, like in all these pine trees, we're just sort of to the east side of Petershine Lake here. There's a lot of rest zones for actually a lot of species. That guy's a 238, by the way, so not terrible. We do have a level 5 troll that we actually ended up replacing with a male female for now in the lodge, so not going to tax that as a placeholder. But especially this time of day, I find like later in the evening on Hirschfelden, this is a really good spot to just kind of run through, so see if anything else is in here. Dang, that is a pretty nice wild boar. It's, of course, the max weight range, level 4 up to 154. And I think, again, like, we've got the 45-70 pistol, so maybe we can use that. We can 0 to 200. I didn't really expect him to just stand there, but that was about as good an opportunity as we'd get. The whole thing about it, and really this and the 44 lever action, slower moving around, you need a bigger lead, and I didn't want to mess up that shot. So I've been sitting here, not gonna lie, kind of dreading trying to hunt Hirschfelden at night. I didn't even realize that the host left. We actually got hosts, so we'll probably go into at least 1900 some, just in case maybe there's something good about Hirschfelden that I don't know about hunting at night, and then we'll likely rest back to morning, but should make sure there's a decent 3 in there. Nothing else too crazy, but it's a pretty solid boar. I actually don't know if there's like bigger tusks for one that are closer to level 5. He's a 133, so that actually is fairly close. About 11 shy. Ended up with a single lung shot at 180 meters with that. 200 plus kilo is always a pretty darn solid one. So let's go ahead and continue on this way. Well, that could be a problem. So let's go ahead and fast travel not to where there's going to be a four-wheeler spooking everything. Like, this is the thing that makes me not want to just immediately rest back to morning. I want to say the troll wild boar that we currently have in our lodge, and those are the three that we still need: boar, roe deer, and fallow deer. But the troll wild boar we got, it was like this. It was late in the evening, and we found him out in a feed zone, and unfortunately, he was like 0.25 shy or something like that. But that's why I want to keep on hunting a little bit longer and just hit these fields, because you never know what could be out there that early in the day probably is resting so deep in the trees you'd never see him unless you get the track. So definitely a smaller max estimate. Yeah, only 189 kilo this time. 125 score for him. But I just like the fact that we're finding decent ones. Fairly often we'll do an entire 3.5 hour hunt here on Hirsch, going for everything, not just wild boar, but never even see that max weight range. So seems like hunting this time of day is a good way to find some good ones. That's another pretty good fallow. Another 4, I think the same estimate, up to 266. Gotta make sure. Some red deer down there. I thought for a second that was a piebald, but that was two facing the other direction. I think that fallow is going to be our best option. So what are we looking at? 230-ish? Don't even know which I'd prefer. I guess we'll go with the 44 lever action this time just to change it up. If we zero for 150, just aim a little high. That should get him in the lungs. It looks like it definitely did. I don't know if that's going to be our last kill here before we get officially into nighttime or not. 1900 is kind of the cutoff. It's currently 1847, so that may be the case, but we'll keep on running around the fields. Not really sure what this guy's problem is, but we'll just kind of let him stand guard over the level 4. That was a 238, so I think we're moving in the right direction. I want to say last was 236. Double lung, little low there, but at 225 laying down, we will take it. And we've kind of gotten through this little area of Ritterstein, so I'm trying to think of what fields we could maybe scoot up into. Oh, this isn't Ritterstein. Well, let's do that then, because that's kind of where I meant to go and just went to the wrong spot. Oh, what the heck? A level 5 wild boar. He is alarmed. We gotta get down here. I can't believe he didn't just spook. That was the first thing I spotted in this herd. Okay, that is right about 100 meters. Let's use the 4570 pistol just because. He is still just alert. If he'll turn broadside, and maybe like a little slower than that because we can't see that well, we'll try to get him down. He just went back to feeding for a second. That was a little back. I'm pretty sure we got him. He started moving a little faster than I wanted right when we shot, but I think what was going to happen because we alerted them, or maybe the zone had just ended, pretty sure they were just going to start to walk away. And I wanted to get that shot before he did exactly what he did do. Make sure we actually got him. He was up to like 160 or something. Where is the blood? That is vital blood. So that was the shot we needed. Is this the score that we need? No way. We got trolled again? It's smaller than the last one. The last one's 144 on the dot. We were back too. That was liver and stomach. If we find another one, or another anything, we might go with the 44 lever action just to avoid potentially messing him up. Trolled twice by wild boar on Hirschfelden. That is so unfortunate. I didn't really expect there to be a 5 there. Harvest a wild boar at night with a handgun. I just did an achievement on Steam. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, my plan had been to probably just go ahead and rest back to morning now. And then of course the final group of boar, before we do that, has a level 5. So now I guess we'll make our way up to like the outpost here before we do it. And I'm gonna say this last field here before that outpost pretty much shows we're not gonna be getting lucky with another level 5 wild boar up here feeding. So we'll go ahead and rest. I guess we're just gonna make it like early morning and kind of see what happens throughout the day. So close to getting one of the species that we need, and I would say like the most annoying one. Fallow deer and roe deer both drink during the day, and diamond fallow deer aren't that insanely rare. We just haven't had great luck with them on Hirschfelden. The boar could be a bit of a struggle, although I guess between the 3 of them, that's now the one that we've had the most max levels of. You know, at some point here, one of these things might make it. He's wider set than the other one. We needed that follow-up because that was not a good shot. We're getting a little kind of sketchy on our shots, but make it to daylight here. We've actually been covering quite a bit of the fields in Rathenfeld. Not a whole lot going on, which again, that's sort of why I wanted to stick around late in the day because so much was going on. But I wouldn't be shocked if that's the biggest of the 3 level 4 fallow we've shot today. And of course, not only that, the white fur type, but yeah, it's at least wider set than the other two. 238.5, right in the same general vicinity as the last one. So yeah, too far forward, and then just straight through them. Intestine, stomach, liver, double lung, literally had no chance. So 642 now. When it gets to be fallow drink time, we'll start to focus on them a little bit. For now, we'll just kind of probably try to hunt the fields because things should be active right now. Well, if you've been paying any attention to the live streams lately, you'll probably know that my ISP and I are not exactly getting along. And unfortunately, we disconnected from that last server before we even got to fallow drink time. And now, we've joined another server, run around quite a bit, and it seems a max estimate level 2 road deer is the best thing we're going to find to wrap up this video. And I just can't believe that we ended up with another troll wild boar. If I remember correctly, when we got the last one, it was kind of the same scenario. We had a pretty decent hunt, but no other standout trophies. And that boar had the chance to save the hunt, but unfortunately, then and now, we don't get to add that diamond to the lodge. And I guess the good news is, we found a lot of boar, we found multiple level 5s, and maybe if we kind of use that strategy again hunting late in the day, it can work. But as we wrap up a 71 scoring gold roe deer, kind of fitting I guess because we started and ended the hunt with roe deer, and because our wild boar trolled us, we don't have anything to take back to the Layton Trophy Cabin. So hopefully next time things can work out. Typically we swap back and forth, so we'll probably be heading to Layton Lakes next time, and maybe it'll be a little bit kinder to us than Hirschfelden it was today. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, so as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.